Hey, how is everyone doing tonight or today, this afternoon? I recently got around to watching the movie Moneyball. Did not get to go see it in theaters. Finally got the chance to watch that on DVD. I kept wondering, and I kept staying away from any movie reviews or people who saw it. Surprisingly, I didn't find a lot of people who actually went and saw the movie who told me like what the ending was, because that was my big thing. What's going to be the happy ending? What's going to be the happy Hollywood movie ending? And I'm not sure if I agree, like with how they ended it. It seems a little weird, but I'll get back to that. So, for anyone who doesn't know what the Moneyball is, Moneyball was based on a book, and it was based about the Oakland Athletics. The author followed the Oakland A's around during their time of basically bringing in when sabermetrics started coming into Major League Baseball, where it wasn't just about this guy can hit a home run, and it kind of was showing that you don't have to be a scout to recognize talent. You can actually be a mathematician. And there's these formulas, and you get on base. And it's kind of something that, a lot of people always thought, like, I didn't care about getting walked if I played baseball or softball. I got on base. Who cares? I got on base. A walk's as good as a hit. That's what I always used to say. And that's basically what it is. You know what? You might sacrifice defense and you might sacrifice other things as long as you get on base, because you get on base that leads to runs scored. So you don't bunt, you don't steal, you don't sacrifice flies, you don't do anything that is basically commonplace in Major League Baseball to score a run. You never give in. You never relinquish anything. You're nonstop, always trying to get that next run scored. So, I mean, in that theory, it's very interesting. It's kind of like you don't punt in football. You never give up. You don't want to ever admit defeat. You're going for it on fourth down every single time, which personally, as a football coach, I'm all for. We didn't punt once this year during my football season. So the movie was entertaining. Brad Pitt's he's a very good actor. How could you not like him? I mean, he's funny. There's funny lines. I really question if Billy Bean is really this cool, because I kind of doubt it. Jonah Hill, it plays the part well. I'm glad he stayed fat for the role, because it wouldn't have been as convincing if he was a skinny, nerdy guy. So I mean that all well done. Supposedly Art Howe had a lot of problems with how he was portrayed by Philip Seymour Hoffman, and even if it wasn't portrayed completely correct, I can understand why they portrayed him that way, because he was a manager in the last year of his deal with a general manager, in all essence, what looked like throwing him underneath the bus. It looked like he was doomed. What are you doing? You're going to make sure I get fired, and everyone's going to blame me and not you. Um, but overall, just how they followed the movie. I mean, it was all about three guys. You go get David Justice. You get Hatterberg to play first base. You get Bradford to be the weird side-armed, underhand submarine pitcher. What about Jermaine Dye? What about Ray Durham? What about Miguel Tejada and Chavez? And look, let's not forget, they had Tim Hudson, Mark Mulder, and Barry Zito on this team. Like, that's kind of my issue. They made it seem like these underdogs, because they made sure to show there was no other talent on the team. They made it seem like everyone was just an underdog, that all these guys were useless. And the whole thing was, I can understand why they did that, because they were trying to replace or they were trying to replace Jeremy Giambi, and they were trying to replace Johnny Damon, and then they were trying to replace Isringhauser, who ended up going to the Mets. Jeremy Giambi went to the Yankees. Johnny Damon went to Boston. I mean, basically, we're the tiny little AL team, and everyone else is going to the big markets out east. Which, I mean, is very true. I mean, that line with Brad Pitt saying, There's the rich teams. There's the poor teams. 50 miles of crap, and then us. I mean, it was hilarious that he made a trade that you got to stock my pop machine because I don't want my guys having to pay $1. I mean, so that's great. I mean, it was what they showed was very good, but it was a very biased kind of point of view to help the point get across. Let's ignore that Billy Beane drafted amazingly well. He built that team. He drafted all these guys. I mean, trading Carlos Pena, I mean, was ridiculous, but it was to prove the point that this system could work. Did he have to? Probably not. Did he make a mistake doing it? Probably. I mean, who's to say they wouldn't have had the game streak record if Carlos Pena wasn't in the lineup? I mean, who knows? So overall, I mean, we all know the story. The Oakland A's have not made it out of the first round with Billy Beane and this system. So he goes to Boston. Gets a big, giant offer. At the time, it would have made him the highest paid general manager in any sport. He declines. He wants to win in Oakland. And that's our happy ending, is that he wants to stay. The problem is, though, it's not a happy ending because he hasn't won. And Boston won 2 years later. So it's kind of that bittersweet ending where maybe you made a mistake. Overall, I think it was a very good movie. It kind of shows, the inner workings of baseball for anyone who doesn't know how this works, and the scouts and how they look in. I mean, they're really psychologists. Oh, this guy has an ugly girlfriend. It means he has no confidence. I mean, that stuff's kind of funny. So I mean, it was a very good movie. I never read the book, by the way, so I don't know if there was any differences between the book and movie. The only complaint I ever heard, like I said earlier, was Art Howe complaining about how he was portrayed. But I bet there was a lot more truth to that than it really was. Yeah. So that's it. I will be reviewing Warrior. I watched that the other day too. That'll probably be posted tomorrow. Check me out, mgexperience.com. Follow me on Twitter, DaChicagoFan, DA Chicago Fan. Check me out doing my podcast every Monday for Chicago Bears, every Wednesday for the Chicago Bulls, every Friday for Chicago Blackhawks. And you can follow me on Bleacher Report. I'm a featured columnist for the Chicago Bulls and Chicago Blackhawks. So that's it. Peace out.